Join me as I dive deep into one of life's biggest mysteries. Does our consciousness exist beyond our brains? Let's find out together. Consciousness is a term that's often used to describe our sense of awareness, our feelings, thoughts, and experiences. But traditionally, it's been linked to the brain, the physical organ that sits inside our skulls. We've been led to believe that consciousness arises from the activity of neurons, synapses, and electrical impulses within the brain. But what if I told you that there's more to the story? The debate surrounding consciousness is a heated one, with scientists and philosophers alike scratching their heads, trying to figure out what it is and how it works. On one hand, you have materialists who believe that consciousness is purely a product of the brain's activity, while on the other hand, you have dualists who argue that consciousness is a non-physical entity that exists independently of the brain. Then there are those who propose that consciousness is an emergent property, arising from the interactions between different parts of the brain. But what if consciousness is more than just the sum of its parts? One of the most mind-boggling aspects of consciousness is its subjective nature. We can't see it, touch it, or measure it directly, yet we're all intimately familiar with it. This has led some researchers to propose that consciousness is not just a product of the brain, but a fundamental aspect of the universe, akin to space and time. This perspective opens up a whole can of worms, including the possibility that consciousness exists beyond the confines of our skulls. The implications of this idea are profound. If consciousness is not solely the product of the brain, then what happens when we die? Does our consciousness cease to exist, or does it continue on in some form? These are questions that have puzzled philosophers and theologians for centuries, and ones that we're still grappling with today. Dualism is one theory that attempts to explain the nature of consciousness. It proposes that consciousness is a non-physical entity that interacts with the brain but is separate from it. This view is often associated with the concept of a soul or a mind that exists independently of the body. While dualism is an attractive idea, it raises more questions than it answers. For example, how does the non-physical consciousness interact with the physical brain? And what exactly is the nature of this interaction? Panpsychism is another theory that's gained traction in recent years. It proposes that consciousness is a fundamental and ubiquitous aspect of the universe, present in all matter and energy. This means that even simple entities such as electrons and atoms possess some form of consciousness. While panpsychism is a radical idea, it does provide a potential explanation for the subjective nature of consciousness. Quantum consciousness is a more recent development in the field. It draws on the principles of quantum mechanics to explain the nature of consciousness. According to this theory, consciousness is not a product of the brain, but a fundamental aspect of the universe akin to space and time. It proposes that consciousness is a non-local, interconnected phenomenon that transcends the boundaries of individual brains. One of the most compelling arguments for the existence of consciousness beyond the brain comes from near-death experiences. These are instances where individuals have been clinically dead but have reported experiencing consciousness, including vivid visions and feelings of peace and joy. While these experiences can be explained away as the result of brain activity or hallucinations, they do raise interesting questions about the nature of consciousness. Another line of evidence comes from individuals who have suffered significant brain damage, yet still exhibit exceptional cognitive abilities. These cases challenge our traditional views of consciousness, suggesting that it may be more resilient and robust than we previously thought. While the theories and evidence presented here are intriguing, they don't provide a definitive answer to the question of whether consciousness exists beyond our brains. What they do suggest, however, is that consciousness is a much more complex and mysterious phenomenon than we currently understand. In conclusion, the debate surrounding consciousness is a messy and multifaceted one, with no clear answers in sight. But what's clear is that our understanding of consciousness is evolving rapidly, and it's an exciting time to be exploring this mysterious aspect of our existence. What do you think consciousness is? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our next video on the mysteries of the mind.